Hello, everyone. Welcome back to my channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before starting the video, please subscribe and keep watching for more detailed videos. The next 2 weeks in Port Charles are shaping up to be some of the most intense and emotionally tangled days this town has seen in a long while. As everyone tries to regain a sense of stability after months of upheaval, new dilemmas emerge. Old feelings are stirred up again, and unexpected alliances begin to form. And at the center of the chaos, once again, is Jason Morgan, a man who can't seem to avoid danger, even when he wants nothing more than to blend back into familiar life. Jason is still adjusting to the reality that his home isn't exactly the same as he left it. People he trusted aren't on the same page anymore. The power dynamics have shifted, and every decision he makes feels like it will either fix or destroy something. He tries to stay quiet, tries to keep his head down, but fate seems determined to push him into situations where he must step up and take control. Over the next 2 weeks, one of those moments puts him right in the position of hero, whether he wants the spotlight or not. What sets everything in motion is a sudden threat that blindsides the people closest to Jason. Someone makes a reckless move that snowballs into a dangerous situation, and even though Jason promised himself he'd avoid unnecessary risks, muscle memory takes over. When he sees someone he cares about in danger, hesitation isn't an option. He dives in, relying on instinct and a calmness that only he can maintain when everything is falling apart. What follows is a dramatic sequence that not only saves a life, but also sends shockwaves through multiple storylines. It reminds everyone watching, and every character in Port Charles, that Jason may try to distance himself, but he will always be the steady hand when chaos erupts. But being a hero doesn't simplify Jason's life. In fact, it complicates it. His actions attract new attention from people who already have their doubts about him. And while some admire what he did, others begin to question whether they can trust his intentions, especially since he returned under secretive circumstances. His time away left questions, and every time he jumps into danger, those questions grow louder. Over the next 2 weeks, Jason is going to be confronted not only by villains in the shadows, but also by people supposedly on his side who are suspicious or frustrated with what they don't understand about his choices. One person who finds himself wrestling with mixed feelings is Michael Corinthos. Michael has always loved Jason deeply, but their trust has been shaken since Jason returned and the truth about his mission slowly surfaced. Michael still doesn't know how to compartmentalize loyalty, anger, and regret. But he also sees opportunities that could benefit his family, his future, and possibly even Jason himself. So Michael comes forward with an offer, one that sounds enticing, layered, and potentially beneficial, but also risky. This offer isn't just business. It's personal. It's strategic. And it pushes Jason into a position where he must choose between protecting peace or diving headfirst into a new alliance that could shift the balance of power in Port Charles. Michael is motivated by a mixture of practicality and emotion. He's trying to secure power for himself, rebuild stability after the Nina and SEC chaos, and reconnect with family on his own terms. Throughout the next 2 weeks, he carefully tries to persuade Jason to join forces, hoping that a united front could fix the fractures between Corinthos factions and rebuild a sense of order. Jason, however, can't decide immediately. He knows better than anyone how quickly a good-intentioned partnership can turn into a battlefield. He thinks about Sunny, about Carly, about the enemies circling like sharks. He weighs the consequences of jumping into Michael's offer, knowing that every move he makes is scrutinized. And Jason also sees something deeper. Michael is still hurting. He wants to trust Jason again, but he's afraid that the truth about Jason's absence means things aren't what they used to be. Their scenes over the next 2 weeks are filled with tension, quiet honesty, and a sense of two men trying to rebuild a bond that used to be unbreakable. Meanwhile, Carly is confronting her own set of emotional crosscurrents. She is still struggling to hold everything together, her family, her future, her own heart, while pretending she isn't still affected by every shift in Sunny's world and every complication surrounding Jason's return. But something unexpected happens in the upcoming episodes. A moment of clarity pushes Carly to do something she rarely does, extend an olive branch, and she chooses someone she normally wouldn't approach with softness or compromise. This olive branch doesn't come easily. Carly is not someone who forgives quickly, nor does she reach out without deep consideration. But she knows that certain battles are draining her, and some grudges are doing more harm than good. Whether she admits it or not, she misses the stability of having her inner circle aligned. And after watching recent chaos unfold, she realizes that holding on to bitterness might only make her situation worse. So, she chooses to take a step toward reconciliation. Her gesture is small enough not to look like surrender, yet meaningful enough to shift the dynamic between her and the person she reaches out to. The scenes are emotional, layered with vulnerability and cautious hope. Carly is trying to protect her heart while also protecting her family's future. Her next moves will affect how she interacts not only with that person, but with Jason, Michael, and even Sonny. All of these separate developments begin to converge. Jason's heroic moment, Michael's tempting offer, and Carly's surprising olive branch. And the result is a ripple effect that spreads through Port Charles. Alliances begin to shift. Secrets start to surface again. Trust is tested. And people who were at odds slowly realize that the only way forward might involve cooperation, forgiveness, and facing uncomfortable truths. Jason's hero moment sets the tone for what's coming. It reinforces that he is the one who steps up when danger hits, but it also reminds everyone that his presence affects everything. Sometimes for better, sometimes for worse, but always significantly. And the people around him, especially Michael and Carly, can't help but respond in ways that shift their own storylines. Is going to create major conversation among fans and characters alike. It presents a chance for father and son, for uncle and nephew, for two men with shared history to strengthen their connection again. But it also risks pulling Jason into deeper conflict with Sonny's world. Michael is trying to build something stable, something smart, something that protects Wiley, protects Willow, protects his family, and having Jason on his side would be a major advantage. Still, aligning too closely could ignite old rivalries and invite new enemies. Jason will be cautious, but he will also be tempted. Carly's olive branch, on the other hand, signals growth. She has spent months feeling cornered, battling the fallout of decisions made under stress, and trying to stay strong for everyone who depends on her. Offering peace means opening the door to vulnerability, something she doesn't always handle well. But she does it because she sees the bigger picture. And over the next 2 weeks, that choice will influence interactions she never expected to soften, possibly restoring relationships she thought were too broken to fix. All of this builds toward a climax where Jason, Michael, and Carly find themselves entangled in a web of decisions that could unify their family or break it apart again. Jason will have to navigate these relationships with precision, especially as others in Port Charles grow suspicious or jealous of how closely he is being pulled into big decisions again. Sonny may not say it outright, but he feels the shift. Others like Dex, Jocelyn, Anna, and even longtime enemies begin repositioning themselves based on the quiet but powerful changes happening within the Corinthos orbit. And as the second week approaches, tension only grows. Jason becomes more torn than ever. Michael becomes more strategic but also more emotional, revealing pieces of himself he normally keeps hidden. And Carly tries to maintain newfound peace while dealing with unexpected consequences of her olive branch. Every choice they make over these next 2 weeks will set the stage for February's sweeps and beyond. Some bonds will strengthen. Some relationships may crack. And people who thought they understood the danger surrounding them may find themselves caught in the center of something far bigger than they ever predicted. One thing is certain, the next 2 weeks will be filled with emotional reveals, unexpected twists, and a mix of hope and uncertainty that will keep viewers glued to every moment. Come back to our channel for all your updates. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to my channel.